Now this is going to be an optional unit. I'm just going to discuss what you might look for when you construct an interval in practice. So there's going to be two things that you want to look for when you're practicing in using statistics. First of all, does the confidence interval, all right, I'll just say CI, does the confidence include what's called a null value? Now a null value is a value that implies no change. Here's an example. Suppose that there's a new treatment for pain after surgery, and you take a sample and you get X bar, the average reduction of pain after surgery is 1 millimeter. All right, so on the average, there's 1 millimeter less swelling after surgery with this new procedure. So you create a confidence interval. Now suppose your confidence interval looks like this. It goes from negative 5.5 to 7.5. And maybe you're at, say you're at 95% here. All right, so what this says is that there is a 95% probability that this interval captures the true mean amount of less swelling. So there's a 95% chance that this interval captures the true mean of less swelling. Well, that includes a zero, right? So there's a possibility that zero is in there. And if zero is in there, that means there's no reduction in swelling. All right, so if you get a null value, if your interval includes a zero or a null value, then what you can do is, you can reject this. You're going to reject this. The question is, does this new treatment actually help reduce swelling? Well, if it includes zero, probably not. But now what about this one over here? Suppose you construct an interval at 95% and you get this interval here. Well, this interval says it's 95% likely that this interval here is going to capture the true mean. And the true mean, this is always positive, right? These are all positive numbers. No zero is involved. So it's likely now that there will be some kind of less swelling with this new treatment. So back over here, if zero is included in your interval, then you can conclude that there is no statistical difference between the current method and the new method, right? Zero is a possibility. Any one of these numbers is a 95% chance of any one of those numbers happening. And if zero is in there, that means there's no difference between the current and the new. But what about this one over here? All right, now zero is outside the interval, so if higher turns out to be better, in your way of thinking, then this is statistically significant improvement. All right, there is a statistical significant improvement, which means that the improvement is not just random, right? There's really something going on here. Second thing you might want to look for is look to see if the interval lies partly or entirely within what we call a range of clinical indifference. Now, clinical indifference means there is a statistical difference, but it's so trivial, it's so small that you wouldn't want to change the way you're already doing things. Maybe your interval looks like this, where zero is not included, so there is some statistical difference here, but it's so trivial that you wouldn't want to change what you're doing. You wouldn't want to spend $200,000 on new equipment just to get some minimal change.